Hi guys, Jasmo here, and today I'm gonna talk about map sustain. The map sustain has definitely been nerfed a little bit, and it is definitely harder to sustain the maps, but that doesn't mean that it's impossible and the game is broken and you cannot progress. No, it's still fine, you just need to put some effort into it. You can no longer just go Alcan Go into T16s and have plenty of maps left over. Now you have to actually invest in maps, and map sustain is actually a relevant mechanic that you have to engage in, and I'm actually a big fan of that, even though the game doesn't teach players how to do that correctly. So I'm not a fan of that part, but I am a fan of the fact that it is actually quite difficult to progress through Atlas now if you don't know all the tips and tricks for what to do. So I'm gonna tell you a few things. First, I'm gonna tell you how can you get some extra maps. There are many methods that most of them I don't even take advantage of. And I have plenty of maps. As you can see here in my stash tabs, I have tons of T16s, 15s, 14s. I am selling maps actively, so I have no problem with the sustain, and I'm still not taking advantage of plenty of the mechanics that I could have taken advantage of if I wanted to. So there is still a room to make the map sustain even harder, which means it is not so bad, okay, as some people are telling you, but it has been nerfed for sure, right? Like everybody who plays this game a lot can tell you that the map sustain is worse this league. So what are some extra sources of maps that you can use? Number one source of extra maps that is fairly easy, that you're gonna engage fairly early with, is Alva. So in Alva, you wanna look for a temple that has extra maps. So that will be, I think, the Surveyor's Study room, and then you wanna upgrade that to room 3. It is very easy, and then you can run that. The temple itself, if you are running it in, like, let's say you're doing, I don't know, T5 maps, okay, and you're gonna in those maps make that temple, it's gonna be that's the same item level, and this means that it's gonna drop like T5 maps as well in it. So you're gonna get more maps just by running it because there are more monsters now in temples. And then the Surveyor's Study, which contains chests full of maps, when you upgrade it to like tier 3, is gonna give you a bunch more maps that are guaranteed. So that's one extra place where you can get maps. Another extra place where you can get maps is Delve. So in Delve, you need to make sure that you progress to the zone level that is similar to the zone level of the maps that you're running. So if you look in here, if I wanted to right now, as you can see, I only delved for my recipes. I only did like just got a couple of recipes and that's it. But if I wanted to get some extra maps, since I'm doing T16s, I would have to go down to item level or monster level, as it says here, 83, right? And in that, if I found a town or like an outpost or a city, right, then those usually have plenty of maps in them, and they drop the maps according to the level of the zone usually. So you want, if you're doing like maps that have zone level like 75, you want to get to like levels 75 or 76 or whatever of the monster level, and that's where you're going to find those maps. And you're looking for the cities and you're looking for the outposts, right? Those nodes are what you're interested in, and they're gonna have plenty of maps. The next mechanic is heist. So if you go and do some heists, there are contracts that have map rewards in them, right? And those contracts will give you not only a lot of map materials, so you will get plenty of chisels, for example, you will get plenty of like horizon orbs and stuff like that, you will get harbinger orbs, you will get sextants while running heist, and it will be also an ability to purchase extra resources like extra contracts for chance orbs in the harbor, and running these will give you some resources as well as extra maps. So that's another place where you can get them. And another place where you can get them is Betrayal. So Betrayal is incredible for map sustain if you're using it correctly. If you look at, for example, Rin, in Intervention, she, I think, drops Cartography Scarabs, right? Cartography Scarabs are very powerful for getting more maps. I don't think they're the best, because there are better Scarabs to use, but if you don't have anything and you can get like some free Cartography Scarabs by running her in here, that's gonna be definitely very good. And then if you're using her in the other safe houses, you can get like unique maps and rare maps and stuff like that. Other characters, like if you want to just get a bunch of Scarabs, just put as many people as you can into Intervention, and just run that safe house, and you will get a bunch of Scarabs. The Scarabs are very, very powerful, very, very important, and you should start using them actually earlier than ever before because of how map sustain looks like. So that's very, very powerful league mechanic for map sustain. So those are some of the outside sources, some different league mechanics that you can use to get maps. You can also take advantage of Zana. So if you didn't know, well, of course, you probably know that Zana sells maps, right? But she can offer you maps that you haven't completed yet that will help you build up your map bonus objectives. Once you get the bonus objectives to like 100, you're gonna start seeing the +1 drops more often, because that's what's the hardest in this league. It's not necessarily that hard to find maps, because you will find maps, and I'm pretty sure that you noticed that you're getting a bunch of like T1 to T5 maps, but you need like T10 right now, or T12 or T14, and it's so hard because you're getting all these shitty maps, right? So how do you make it so that maps drop higher levels, so that instead of dropping the same level that you're in, you are actually dropping from rare monsters and from bosses, like maps that are higher level, or from the maps that you have unlocked that are higher level. You need to make sure that you have high completion bonus, and in order to do that, you could either buy maps, but I think that's a waste of time and you should not actually do that. I think that's like a bad way of doing that. I think the good way of doing that is to working on your bonus completion, buying maps from Zana, and then juicing your maps more. Buy materials to juice maps more, and then you're gonna actually drop more stuff and more maps. So from Zana, you always want to check, you want to always like purchase items, then you want to like press Z or Alt or whatever button is this for you, and then make sure that you look at the completion, right? And if the Atlas objective is not complete, or if the Atlas map is not complete, you want to buy that map, and the price from Zana will usually be cheaper than buying from other players, and you don't have to go to another website, interact with people or whatever. It's just much faster. So you want to make sure that you're buying these maps, and then in order to reset Zana, like always check it, and then go to your map device, run a map with Zana mission. Like right now I have a white Zana mission, right? I don't know how I got it, but I have a white Zana mission. So what I would do, just to get some extra maps, I would pick up a map. Let me pick up like just like random white map I don't care about, okay? And then once this map activates, Zana will reset when I didn't select the mission. Pepega, okay. Let's do this. When I activate this with Zana mission, okay? Now she will reset. So now she still should have the old maps, but then when I close the shop and open it again, she's gonna have new maps. There we go, some new maps, and we got like T14 shaped beach, and we've got, oh, fungal hole, there we go, a map I don't have, let's buy it. Anything else? No. So I just got a map that will help me do my completion, right? I will just get extra awakener bonus, not awakener bonus, the completion bonus from this map, and that's how you can reset the Zana and get more and more maps, so that you can have a higher completion, and so that you can just drop more maps. Another thing that you can do is to set up your Atlas properly. This is something that it might have changed a little bit how it's calculated and the percentages, because I have noticed a tremendous difference because of a single mechanic that used to be in the Atlas before. It worked like that. It worked exactly the same before, as far as I know, but now it is so much more important to do. So as you can see, I am running currently Lira Arthane. This is my money strat. I'm gonna make next I'm gonna make like a video about making currency in this league, but let's focus on maps for now. So you can see that I have no other wardstones socketed. That is because currently I'm not interested in running any other region. If I was interested in running any other region, I would have 4 wardstones in it. But you will notice that people do this thing where and I used to do this thing as well, right? And that's how I started in this league. That's why I noticed this massive difference. I would have like a few wardstones in here, right? So I would have like, I can have like 3 wardstones in here, as long as I don't drop any other 14s, right? So I can type 14 in here. Okay, this still doesn't drop any tier 14, 15, 16s, okay? So the only maps I care about, 14, 15, 16, are gonna be from this region, right? And then I can put like 2 in the corner regions. I can put like 2 of them, right? And that still will make it so that it doesn't drop any 14s, because if I put a third one, then suddenly these ones in the end are 14, so I'm not interested in that, right? But here is what I'm doing. I am spreading the possibility of dropping maps across many levels. So right now I can drop T1 to T4, I can drop T4 to T5, I can drop T9 to T12, I can drop T11 here, I can drop so many different T to T13, right? And then I can drop 14, 16s. Why is that bad? Even though I would get like higher Awakener level, right? The Awakening level will give me extra chance for connected maps to drop from the unique map boss. It will give me extra chance for Shaper and Elder Guardian maps and extra bases. The reason is those things don't matter nearly as much as just progressing and dropping the maps that you need. The Awakening bonus doesn't actually do that much for you, and the 2% chance for additional connected map from unique map boss is very little, because you only kill 1 or maybe 2 unique bosses in a map if it's a twinned map, but you kill hundreds of other monsters, which is much more important to take care of. So I'm gonna actually take these out and explain to you what happens when you, for example, are dropping a map in a game, right? So let's say I'm running this map and I'm dropping a map, right? So the game is saying, okay, you killed a monster, now a map is gonna drop. What tier is it gonna drop? And it's gonna randomly roll. And let's say it's gonna say you're gonna drop a tier 8. And then it's gonna look on my atlas. Where do I have a tier 8 unlocked? Where do I have a tier 8 that I'm connected to, and so on, right? To do the calculations. If I don't have any tier 8 connected, it's not gonna like look for the next map, next highest tier or next lowest tier. It's just gonna not drop anything, but it's gonna add a little bit of a bonus toward my progression to drop the next map. So it's gonna add a little bit of a value toward like dropping the next T14. And then next map is gonna drop, right? I'm gonna like, oh, now you're gonna drop a T8. You killed a monster. It says that you're gonna drop a T6 now, okay? Where is a T6 on an atlas? Okay, I type 6, no T6 on the atlas. Okay, you're not gonna drop a map, but to compensate for that, you're gonna get a little bonus toward dropping another map. That's how it works. Because whenever I unsocketed these watchstones, right, I noticed a massive difference. I stopped dropping all of the garbage maps, right? I stopped dropping all of the T6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I stopped dropping all of those maps, okay? And I was dropping less maps, okay? I have physically like less maps, but I have much more T14, 15, and 16s. Much more of them. Like I'm dropping like 1, 2, 3 per map, no problem. It's very, very easy to sustain now that I took out these watchstones. So this is something super important that you need to be doing, setting your atlas properly. And if I wanted to next like farm Turn's End, because I wanted to like test Delirium Mirror, or I wanted to do Hayward Hamlet or Lex Proxima or whatever, Lex Ajoris or whatever, then I would put the 4 watchstones in here instead of like doing anything else, right? So I would put like 4 watchstones in here and just run 4 watchstones in here, like just ignore the awakening level. The awakening level honestly is not that important. It's super annoying to have to put watchstones in when you want to do like awakener fight and stuff like that, but that's a price you have to pay for dropping much more maps. So the last thing, and the most important thing, of course, right, is the juice, is the sauce, okay? How do you add sauce to your maps? How do you run your maps? How do you make it so that you actually drop more maps? So we've got all these currencies, okay? We got all of these currencies to take advantage of. Here's what I'm gonna tell you, okay? There's like 99% of the chance that you are using your currencies too little. You're not using them enough, okay? I'm running currently like Lyra Arthane, and I'm using like a Gilded Scarab, and then a Blight Scarab, and then Legion Scarab. They're very expensive, but I'm using those. I'm using the Prophecies. I'm using 4 crafted Watchstones. I'm using Sextants on them all. Ideally, I'll be using like all Awakened Sextants, okay? But minimum, I'm using like all Prime Sextants, okay? And I'm juicing the hell out of these maps. And every single map, I'm using like Breach or Harbinger or Bloodlines on the map device. Every single map. You need to start using these things very, very early. So if you're at least like, let's say if you're like even in white maps, okay? If you are down to your last T4, okay, and you need to progress to T5, you're down to your last T4, I am actually going to chisel that map. Of course you need to alch the map. By the way, for those of you who didn't know, you can use Orbs of Binding, which you probably have a shit ton of from the League mechanic, to roll the maps, okay? So what you want to do is you want to chisel the map, okay, when it's white, so that it's only 4 chisels to get it to 20% quality. You want to Orb of Binding that, okay? If it doesn't have any mods you cannot run, then you can just scour Binding again, okay? I have plenty of alchemies, I have plenty of Orbs of Binding, I have never bought any. It's a silly concept to me to buy them. So this is no problem, and you need to make sure that you're using Sextants. The moment you have a single watchstone, okay, when you do this corner region, let's say for your first conqueror, you kill your first conqueror, you get your first watchstone, you socket it here, okay, when you're doing the proper strategy. You can check out my Atlas video if you want to know what's the proper strategy for progressing the Atlas. The moment you do that watchstone here, and the moment you start running this region, you should put a Sextant on this. You should go and pick up any like simple Sextant that you found in the maps and put it on that. And the Sextants that you need to roll should be the ones that roll extra packs, right? So let me roll some Sextants in here. Okay, this is a good one. Areas contain 8 additional packs of monsters, okay? This is what you want. You want the extra packs of monsters. Let's roll next one. 8 additional packs of monsters, perfect. Next one, 8 packs of monsters, perfect. Next one, corrupted boss drops 2 val items, 5 chance to drop corrupted items. This will give you some extra, what are they called? This will give you some extra like 6 links potentially, but if you're not juicing them out that much, you might reroll that. Okay, 5 additional packs of monsters with like rare monster, okay, perfect. Now we've got tons of monsters added to the map. That's gonna be much more monsters. And then what you wanna do, like even in white maps, if you really need to drop the next map to progress, just use fragments, okay? Use 3 fragments. Use Scarabs, like use a Breach Scarab, use a Cartel Scarab, use Perandus Scarab, use a Beast Scarab if you don't have a mission, use Abyss Scarab. Any Scarab that will add monsters to your maps is worth using. Any Scarab. You will have them from League Mechanic, you will have them from randomly doing like Delirium and stuff like that, from Delirium Mirror that sometimes spawns. You will have some of those things, right? So definitely take advantage of them and use them in the maps that you're running. As early as white maps, you can start using them. There's no problem. If you need to progress and you're struggling progressing, that means you need to use your resources, okay? And then you're gonna be like, okay, but what if I don't have these, okay? I used the simple Sextant a few times, now I don't have any. I used the chisels, now I don't have any, right? And I just started mapping, I don't have any. Or I don't have any alchemies to roll my maps, okay? What can I do? You can use also Harvest. Did you know that you can also use Harvest to roll your maps? You can do the, like, change a normal item into a rare item. You can just put a map in and roll Harvest, and that way you can sell some alchemies and binding orbs in the early game. You can also just go to, for example, Quarry, okay? That's what people were doing this league, for example. They were just going to Quarry, okay? They were just resetting this zone and looking for the League mechanic, okay? And they were just simply running the League mechanic. So there you go, Ultimatum instantly here, instantly stand in stone circles. Let's reset the zone. We don't like the stand in stone circles, okay? So you go reset this zone. Okay, next Ultimatum, okay? What is he? Defeat waves of enemies. There you go, and you can just do that and you get some currency. Easy. You don't need to do anything else and you can just grab currency. You just do it fully because it's pretty low level and you just make some extra currency that way, and you don't even need maps for that, okay? And that way you can make currency for your materials. Just then go on trade, buy some simple Sextants at least, or buy prime Sextants, they're really cheap, buy cartographer's chisels, buy some either cheap fragments in bulk or buy some Scarabs. Scarabs are pretty cheap. You can buy some of them, like, be creative, okay? Don't just buy Carto Scarabs, by the way. Carto Scarabs are kind of a trap. Buy Scarabs that add monsters to your maps. So that would be like Perandus Scarabs, Elder Scarabs, Harbinger Scarabs, they're pretty good. Breach Scarabs, Abyss Scarabs, Blight Scarabs, Legion, Metamorph, also Bestiary, right? Run all of those. Make sure you take advantage of your missions as well, and always use a zana map device, right? If you don't have the chaos, just do chaos recipe, do quarry farming and make some chaos, and always run this because the money will come back to you. This investment is always worth it. So you want to run the best juice you can, right? So the best juice you can, if you're not doing any specific strategy, would be Harbinger, okay? People are like, oh, but Harbinger thing, the region is nerfed and Harbinger is no longer as good. That doesn't matter. Harbinger is still a great mechanic that adds a lot of monsters to your maps, that drop a lot of maps, okay? So you want to do the Harbinger, or you want to do the Bloodlines if you want to like zoom through the maps really, really quickly and never stop for anything, okay? If you're just speed completing the maps, just run Bloodlines instead, okay? Or you can do Breach if you're doing the Breach strategy, for example, or you can do Essence if you want to make some extra currency, because selling essences in bulk is also a pretty good strat. So that's it. Hopefully this will help you sustain maps. It's really not an issue to sustain the maps. It is definitely harder, it is definitely a struggle, but if you're using all of these things, you're gonna have way more maps than you need, and you're gonna be able to actually sell them and make even more currency than you spend on all those crafting materials. So in my opinion, it is always better to invest like I don't know, 5-10C in your map. You're gonna drop a T16 map, there you go, you got more than 10C already immediately. So, and then you're gonna drop other things as well, because you juiced that, right? You're gonna get like you're gonna get some splinters or fragments or whatever, and that is gonna come back, and you're gonna be able to reinvest that money, get more maps, and progress your character to where you want it to be, instead of just sitting in like white or yellow maps and hoarding currency for the next league, or for, I don't know, so that it goes to standard. Like, just use your currency to progress through maps, and you're gonna have a much easier time. So that's it. Next video, I'm gonna actually talk about some currency making strategies. There are some really good ones. People are really complaining that there's no way to make currency. No, there are plenty of ways to make really, really good currency this league. So definitely look out for the next video. You can subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. You can also check out my Twitch at twitch.tv/AsmodeuszStream. Thank you so much, and see you next time.